Good day, everyone. My name is Maisa Sarkis, and I interview businesses from around the world. This time it will be in Spain. My guest today, her name is Maitén Panella. She's Italian and she's now based in Spain. She's a psychologist and psychotherapist with more than 25 years of experience helping entrepreneurs, founders, executives to choose course of action, which is the best that works for them. So, hello, my team. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for inviting me to
It's a
this.
pleasure to have you in our Lockdown Economy series. So, tell us, what do you do as a business and how long have you been doing it?
Okay, well, as you said perfectly well, I'm a business psychologist and I'm also a psychotherapist. And I've been working as such for almost 30 years. And I love profoundly what I do because it is, in a way, like the traditional psychology, but focused on the work sphere. So I work closely with entrepreneurs, with founders, also with executives. And what we try to understand together is the dynamics between their personalities and their work. So everything that goes from stress and anxiety to team management to negotiation and change and how to manage yourself and understand yourself and your emotions and the importance of recognizing these emotions because Maisa, something that has always been like that in my personal experience and from everything that you can read about is the same, is that people still think that emotions are something wrong in a certain way,
Mm.
like something that doesn't belong to us, which in fact is the opposite. We are made by emotions and we are led by emotions. So everything we do, even if as a second thought we elaborate a reason for doing it, is guided, is led by an emotion. So the true work is to try to find out what we feel, how we feel it, and why we feel it, and then try to do something about it.
And speaking about that, how many years you've been helping people manage their lives and businesses?
Well, I've been doing this since I got my degree, my first degree. So that was like 27 years ago,
Mm.
more, a little more. And but lately I've been focused on a certain niche. So my working closely with entrepreneurs and particularly with the startup founders and which is a fantastic niche to work with people so creative, with all the innovations and the willingness to put something good for the society, to create something that can really change the society. So to work closely with them, trying to really understand all the obstacles that they find outside and from the inside is fascinating. It's like a perfect combination for me because it is the combination of my call of vocation, which is to help others, with working with people that are creating things to
Mm.
help others. So it's perfect.
Yeah, you get to help to see the light or the spark inside of them and help them develop this further. Founders, how many clients in this niche you had before 2020?
Oh, very few, because I was focused on other niches. So the clients I got before lockdown were in this particular niche very few. So the
Mhm.
whole thing developed in the last year, and let's say that the latest 3 years, but this last year, this
Mm.
last particular and so different year, changed everything. Mainly because, for any entrepreneur, to begin something new and to bring something new to the world is a fantastic experience. You begin with a lot of enthusiasm and a lot of hope. And so you raise your money, you create your team, you prepare everything. But then life happens. And then all the obstacles and problems begin because this is the real life. Life is full of, the road is full of bumps.
Mhm.
So, with this particular situation, with the lockdown, the unknown increased. So, if the normal life is full of unknown, now it's a reality. So, we really don't know what's going to happen, what's going to be like in 1 month, in 2 months, in 3 months. And particularly for founders, that was pretty scary. Pretty.
The lockdown happened and the pandemic affected everyone. I want to know, how did it affect your business at that period?
Well, I have to say that a lot in one sense and not much in another, and I explain further.
Mhm.
A lot if I think about the changes in terms of clients, because I lost a lot of clients because of the pandemic, because they didn't know exactly what was going to happen with their businesses, so they had to cut certain things. So this is one of the realities. On the other side, in terms of how I work, not much. Uh, I miss to take planes and to travel. I miss that a lot, and I used to travel a lot to see clients, to visit clients, because I always mixed both remote work and live work, and both are good, both are interesting, and the perfect combination is the perfect thing is the combination of the two. And well, of course, since lockdown, it's exclusively remote. So our life is inside Zoom the whole day.
Yes,
That's
we meet behind the screen, and it become the only means of communication. We are exposed to many new things, and partly it's digital. So how did you try to stimulate the business? We've mentioned before that you now look at a different niche. So how did you attract customers? How did you plan for the business to adapt to the new way of working?
yeah. Well, one of the things that I do a lot is networking. I love to talk with people. I love to get to know people, and I love to get to know about their lives and their businesses. Of course, uh, because I'm a psychologist, but it goes beyond that. It is my personality. I enjoy very much to be with people. I think that it is one of the most beautiful things to have the time to share and to listen and to make the most out of a new conversation. So that's something that highlights our life. So I network a lot. I belong to a couple of clubs, and I use LinkedIn a lot, and I love it. I love it, and I think it's one of the best ways for your business and for your mind to keep sane and on to keep on being healthy, to just to talk, even if it is through Zoom, even if it is like that, remote. But you know that there is a human being on the other side, and you can see the expressions, and you can see the smile, and you can resonate with the things that the other person is telling you. So I think, in fact, that is one of the most important things to do for your business. So to create these communities, these remote communities, it's fantastic for business.
Yeah, and we've seen, as you mentioned, to add what you have spoken. I'm someone who's active on LinkedIn, and many people who were not, I've seen them join LinkedIn platform and many other clubs for a need. When we talk about you being active and networking, you had customers, and do you know how your customers are doing in this period of a lockdown that started in 2020 and perhaps it's still affecting them till today, 2021?
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, I can say that 90%, maybe more of them, have been pretty affected. pretty hit by the pandemics. Uh, at many levels, not just because of the economics and all the problems related with the business, but also at personal levels, familiar levels. So um, it was pretty hard. It is still pretty hard for many of them. And in fact, one of the things that I've been working a lot with them, one of the most things I work on is the resilience. How to create a true resilience, like a true core that can keep you grounded and can give you a certain steadiness,
Mhm.
because you know everything around is, as I said before, is the unknown. So everything is not steady, it's changing all the time. We cannot control what is going on, we don't know what's going on. So the only thing that we can know and we can control is ourselves. So to find those places, let's call it that way, inside of you that can support you, and also outside, members of your family, things that you love to do, reading certain books, doing certain activities, even if they are indoors, but things that nurture you. These things create your base, your stability. So even if the whole world is doing like that, like crazy around you, you are there. This is really important. This is one of the things that I work the most with them.
Future is something we plan for, and sometimes it happens without when we are planning our are working on our own goals, daily goals. So we're gonna talk about the coming few months and the period of 2020. How's your business going for now, and what are you planning for the coming few months, few the projects that you have in place? Can you tell me a little bit more?
Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, I have a lot of new projects going on. And this year began with a lot of new things. One of the things related to the pandemics was that we all need to reinvent ourselves in a way, create new ways of doing things, open new partnerships, open all the time, opening. This is a very important word. So, planning in a way for the future, uh, in my case, includes to open a community that is going to be open as of September. I'm creating different courses all related to one basic thing, which is resilience. But it's going to be divided in different spheres, because one of them is going to be dedicated to motivation. One of them is going to be dedicated exclusively to stress and burnout, and like that, because they are pretty important in themselves, all these topics, but they are all related to resilience. And I'm doing also very interesting partnerships. In fact, I'm working right now with a software company from the Netherlands, and they have a fantastic tool, an excellent assessment for entrepreneurs that I use with my clients, so they can really understand their presence, their status quo, and the skills that they really need to develop, and the skills that they are pretty good, or maybe they can even understand the skills that they already have, but they are not using it at the 100%. So all these things are happening this year. I'm going to be in a very interesting conference, uh, remote probably, in next November, because the conference is in Kuwait and it is about entrepreneurship. And I'm going to give a speech about the relationship between the emotions and the entrepreneurship. So lots of things going on this year.
Well, I can see that your agenda is full, and the reason why is what the kind of growth that you help to the
Absolutely,
business.
absolutely. My role, I see myself as a facilitator. And the work that I do is, well, I'm a psychologist. So, in a certain way, I work like any other psychologist. But the thing that I work with topics related with the business, any business, basically entrepreneurships, any entrepreneurship, but uh, let's define it like that. Somebody with an idea, wanting to do something. This is for me the thing. The willingness of making that idea reality. So my work is to try to really understand all the obstacles that are around that and to help that entrepreneur to make his or her dream come true in the best possible way and in the best uh, realistic way. So this is very important for me. So you can really conquer your dreams and make them come true in a very realistic way. It is possible, absolutely. The number one thing that you need to do is to get to know yourself,
Mhm.
because this is something that entrepreneurs do. And I speak not just as a psychologist, but also as an entrepreneur myself. Is that sometimes we focus too much in our creation because it is like our baby, instead of paying attention to what is happening inside of us, which is paramount because it's the guidance for our creation. So this kind of work is part of the thing I do.
If we're gonna speak about your business and your area, can you tell me things that you would need help with?
Well, one thing that I love, that I really love, particularly among entrepreneurs and particularly among founders, is that they begin to understand that psychology is not a bad word. Emotions is not a bad word. That these parts are us. When we say psychology is the study of our mind, and our mind is our brain, and our brain is our in our body, and we are one. So to begin to um, be a little bit less scared about understanding what's going on inside of you, I would ask everybody to be open to understand, because the result is exactly the opposite of what they usually think. They think that is so to explore the emotions is like to open the Pandora box. So some kind of, I don't know, earthquake is going to happen. And the reality is that they are living in a permanent earthquake until they begin to explore the emotions. So this is one of the things that I would ask to please, please, please begin to pay attention to yourself. Um, another thing Another thing is for all of us, mainly Westerns. Um, let's try to think less in opposites. Let's try to label less, because if we begin to uh, think about wholeness, if we begin to think about inclusion instead of separate things, if we begin to understand that everything is in a circle instead of a line, if we begin to try to make things closer instead of separate them, the result is much better. In all senses, if you are an entrepreneur and you think about your creation as a whole that includes you, all your stakeholders, your product, everything is in permanent movement and change. And all these relationships are important, and they are in a permanent movement. It's not one thing and then the other. It's not your body and then your mind. It's one thing. So I think that we all need to think more in terms of fluidity, circularity, and wholeness.
All right, so that's a wrap. So we it is a very rich topic, and there's many discussions and elements in play. So with that, I would like to really thank you for joining and being a guest in the Lockdown Economy series. It's been a pleasure to have you. And everyone who wants to reach out to Maitén, I will have all the links in the description.
Much, Maisa. It was really a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.
Likewise, stay tuned. We'll have many interviews from different countries and different sectors.